Why does the friend zone exist?
For losers who are meant to be there.
Women don't friend zone men that they like. They friend zone men that they're using.
Are you guys in a relationship?
No.
Oh. You say yeah, you say no.
We are not in a relationship, no.
Would you say he's in the friend zone?
Yes, I do have a boyfriend.
Oh, you do have a
Yes,
boyfriend?
not him.
What does it mean to be friend zoned? It means she don't like you, and it means she just wants to spend your money without giving you any cap. That's what it means.
I had this one guy in New York. We were friends for 20 years, never touched him, nothing. And he was like my therapist. Every time something went wrong, I would call him and he just knew what to say to me, like to calm me down. And like we could talk for hours, but I wasn't physically attracted to him at all. Like I would never see myself having sex with him, but he was like my therapist. Like I could talk to him every day, all day.
Hey, this is Raulh of Please Act Right. So here's a young man who's talking about his friend zone experience with a beautiful woman that worked out in his favor. But we all know that this is a unique experience for men who get friend zoned. Stick around after the video because I'm going to tell you a quick story of what happened to me and most men who get friend zoned by women.
I was on a date. I thought it was a date. One day, she went on a trip and she just happened to be in the city that I was going to like the next day.
Damn.
So I hit her up and I'm like, oh man, I'm finna be out there. Like, you know, we should link up when I get out there. I end up looking up some place to Instacart some flowers from, stuff like that. We get to the dinner. We chopping it up, everything going good. Before the flowers get a chance to get to the restaurant, she was like, you know, right now I'm just networking and, meeting you. I just feel like you would be a super dope friend and somebody to know and network with and things like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, flowers on the way though. So the Instacart guy called the phone. Mm-hmm. So I answered the call and I'm like, oh, I gotta take this, I'll be back. Blew the shit out of her. She looking like, damn, if it was a bitch, you could have just took the phone call. Like, I ain't even know that with you. So she fake blue. I'm like, cool, whatever. So I go outside, grab the flowers, come back, give her the flowers. It was 2 dozens of roses. You know what I'm saying? Give her the flowers. And I just flip it like, you just finished some grad school classes for the semester. It's just a little celebration. It ain't shit, whatever. Salty to the mother. Salty to the mother. And basically, I got friend zone. Hard.
Damn.
In person. Boundary. Boom. Network. Homie. Fuck is you talking about? All that. I feel like a lot of people would have got bitter in that situation, stopped hitting her up, or like, I ain't looking for no friend, I ain't on that, whatever. And she's bad though, on top of that, like cold. I stayed cool with her, right? We chopped it up, she real cold on the business side. And she ended up telling me, man, y'all should start taking donations for what y'all do with the young kids in the city or whatever like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't really into donations and stuff. Like, we know how to figure out ways to make money to take care of stuff. She like, nah, like, it might be some millionaires following you. You never know, So I listened to her, cool. We do the event. I put the donation link out there. In probably like an hour, we had enough money to cover a couple events. You know what I'm saying? So end up being able to beef the event up, order better food, shit like that. Cover the videographer, all of that. That wouldn't have been the case if I would have got on some salty shit and been like, oh no, I can't be in no friend zone. I ain't looking for no homie, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to talk about today, man. Like, why do men run from the friend zone so hard? Like, what does it come from? Why aren't men just able to be like, okay, I shot my shot, she not on shit, we can be cool. Like, what's the big problem? What's the big deal with it? Why is it looked down upon? Why does it look like, you hear the word something getting thrown out there and all of that? So we're gonna explore that today.
Okay, so it worked in his favor by her suggesting to him that he set up a donation page that helped raise more money for the events he was sponsoring. However, we know that the majority of men who get friend zoned do not have outcomes like this. I'm about to tell you a story, right? So there was a beautiful young lady who was a classmate of mine back in high school. You know that one woman that most men want to date? Well, we knew each other in high school, but nothing ever happened between us. 10 years later, we had the class reunion, and guess who shows up? You guessed it, the beautiful young lady. And she was still as fine as she was in high school. So after we talked and caught up on what happened over the last 10 years of our lives, we exchanged phone numbers. She was living in an apartment at the time, so it was just a phone call here and there just to say hi from her. But then she bought a house. During one of our conversations, I mentioned to her that I worked on houses doing remodeling and whatnot. Now all of a sudden, she's calling me on the regular. She didn't start out by asking for favors, but after a short while, the requests for favors started coming in. One time she called and said the sump pump in her basement wasn't working to pump the water out of the house whenever she would use the washing machine. So I went over and checked it, and sure enough, it was broken. I checked online at the nearest big box store, and the pump cost $150. She had the money, so we went and bought it, came back, and I installed it. She said thank you, but of course she didn't offer to pay me for installing the pump. Honestly, I didn't mind because it only took me about a half an hour because I had done it so many times before. She failed to mention to me she had already called a plumber, which I found out later when she slipped up and mentioned it, and they quoted her $575 for the cost of the pump plus labor. So what does a woman do when she's quoted a high price for something she feels she can possibly get cheaper? Call the handyman guy in her friend zone. Another time she called and asked me if I could stop by when I had time and clean out her gutters because they were full of leaves, and that she would order a pizza and we could catch up after I was done. Of course, me being the nice person that I am, I did it for her. Another time she called me and said she wanted the cabinet, sink top, and vanity mirror replaced in her bathroom. So I made time for her to go to the store with her, she paid for it, and went back to her house and I installed it. And of course, she ordered some takeout and said thank you after I was done. Another time she called me because one of her light switches wouldn't work, so I went over and changed it out for her. Another time, she needed the windowsills painted on the outside of her house, and I did that too. That took me about 5 hours because I had to keep moving the ladder from window to window. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a shallow guy like some of the men are. I wasn't expecting sex in return for the favors, but I did know I was being used for labor, and in return, a quick fast food restaurant meal for the work that I was doing. I was fine doing the things for her from time to time because she didn't ask that often, until one day, while I was repairing her fence because the wood was rotting, we got on the subject of why we were single. She said the guys she dated were just playing around and wouldn't give her a commitment for a serious relationship. When I asked her how long had she gone without having sex, that's when I realized this woman was getting me to do all the work while some other guy gets to sleep with her for free. She told me she had a male friend who would come around and give her a tune-up, if you know what I mean, whenever she wanted him to. Then I asked her why she didn't have him coming over and helping her with her house when she needed things done, and she responded, "Oh, he doesn't know how to do handyman work." That's when I decided I would never help her with our house ever again. Let me get this right. She calls me to come over and do manual labor for her for free. But this guy gets to come over and enjoy her juice box and do nothing else after that? Once again, I wasn't looking for sex in return, but shouldn't she have sex with a man that knows how to fix things on her house? Once I left after fixing her fence, I never returned any of her phone calls after that. The funny thing is, after talking to a couple of the other guys who we graduated with that were also at the class reunion, I found out she was doing the same thing with them. She had one of them come over and paint her living room. She had another one come over and put new ceramic tile down on her kitchen floor. And even another guy who came over and power washed the vinyl siding on her entire house all the way around. And none of us got paid. Just a fast food restaurant meal after the work was done. So the young man in the video who says not to be salty when a woman puts you in the friend zone, the outcome of his situation was a very rare one. But what I'd like to know is, has she given him anything else of value after the advice of starting a donation page for his events? If she's giving her great advice on going because he said she was brilliant in the business field, then it's okay being in her friend zone. You're getting something in return for being her friend. Unfortunately, we all know that most women who put a man in her friend zone give absolutely nothing of value to those friend zone men. But she will take from him any and everything she can as often as she can. I'm not telling any of you men it's okay to be in a woman's friend zone, nor am I telling you to dismiss her completely if she friend zones you. But what I am saying is, be careful that she's not using you, and that's the only reason she's keeping you in her friend zone.
Once a woman friend zone you, there is no going back. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. I don't care if you wine and dine me, if you take me to Italy, you're not getting this, because whatever you did from the start to get you in a friend zone, you can't get out.
Hey, somebody had to tell you, and I love you, so might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I post a new video every week. And in the meantime, will you please act right? My name is Raulh. See you in another video.
Poor man is so deep in the friend zone. Y'all, please.
Okay. From Top Golf to dinner, flowers, ice cream, and horseback riding, you outdid yourself on this on this friend date. Daniel, you wanted to set a standard for how I should be treated, and you sure set a high one. I thank God so much that he put an amazing friend like you in my life. Thank you for making me feel like a true princess. Still single though? First of all, you rude. Hashtag still single though. Girl, you bogus. Somebody go get Daniel, okay? Because this child, that was just rude. You could have just saved that. That was rude as I don't know what. Oh my gosh. Like, had to emphasize that. I feel bad for him. Somebody go get him. He is a sweetheart.
So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy them too. And if you like, you can visit my channel. I have plenty of videos there. Go ahead. Don't be scared.